What's up, gamers? Welcome to another episode of Gamer Rant, where today we're going to be talking about more DLC bullshit. Now, we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of Resident Evil 7 DLC. This is kind of the item that spawned this particular video. So, let's destroy this motherfucking bullshit. Alright, so I don't really think I need to really iterate anything about the Resident Evil 7 DLC, because if you've been on this channel for a while, you should already know what I think about it. But for anybody that's new, it's bullshit. That's right. Releasing DLC a week after, day one DLC, pre-order DLC, it's all fucking bullshit. Free DLC is also bullshit, because it's just like, you know, they was going to make it free, why not just stick it in the fucking game? And for anyone that iterates that, you know, they support it, it's better than paid, you're supporting free DLC also dictates the iteration of supporting paid DLC. There's a reason why both of them exist. Maybe you should think about that, alright? Now, we're going to kind of flow into a different direction. Still on the subject of DLC. That's really all I have to say specific to Resident Evil. Like I said, this article just kind of spawned this entire video. DLC in general. I've given you my thoughts, my quick thoughts and opinions on the Resident Evil 7 DLC. Fucking bullshit. Now let's actually get down to the nitty-gritty of why these companies do this bullshit. You know, we travel back in time to like when DLC was in its infamy and there were more gamers that would speak up negative about it. We also had gamers that would defend it. Some of the excuses that they would give is, well, they're a business. The business needs to make money. They're not making money because, you know, more games now require more employees, better graphics, better hardware, all of the fees included on getting their games on consoles and various other avenues, so on and such forth, etc., etc., etc. Bullshit excuse after bullshit excuse, all right? Sucking that developer dick instead of, you know, taking your mouth off of it and actually thinking for a few seconds instead of being a fucking sheep, I guess. But I digress. Another excuse is the purpose of a business. You know, the purpose of a business is to make money. No. The purpose of a business is to offer a quality service or product that is the goal of a business to make money. And like any goal in reality, for those that live in reality, can be accomplished or you can fail at that goal. This is the same thing when it applies to a business. The goal of a business is to make money. The goal of a business is not to offer a quality service or product. That's what they should strive for. Can they still fail to do it? Yes. But the main goal of a business is to make money, specifically to generate revenue, which they can fail to do. And there are many things that can ultimately dictate why a company fails to generate revenue for their business. What doesn't make any sense is creating a subsidy excuse, all right? This is something that I just thought of, a subsidy excuse, all right? It is where a business has created something in order to counteract something wrong in their business without actually fixing it. They've come up with a temporary solution instead of actually looking at the core of the problem and fixing it. So the biggest complaints that, yes, we've even heard from these big developers such as Electronic Arts and Capcom back further in the day, all right, when DLC was in its infamy, is that DLC allows them to make money, to generate money, because they don't make enough money off of the video games that they sell themselves. Now, the issue with that is that if you're a business and you're not generating a revenue from a product, then maybe you should do what a business is supposed to do, look at the product, and find out why the product failed or is failing. That way, when you create another product, you do not run into the same issue or problem. But instead of doing that, many of these companies still have this problem of apparently not making money. But instead of looking at the core of why they're failing to make money, to generate a revenue, they come up with a temporary solution, which is DLC, because it can generate revenue, which makes up for the lack of revenue that they lose in other areas, instead of honestly looking at the core of their product or service to find out why they're losing money there. Ironically, how many game developers could honestly say that they honestly listen to game reviews? And that they don't just honestly listen to them, but they take it to heart, so that when they go to develop a new game, they're like, for example, let's say a fucking Final Fantasy game, which we all know Square Enix doesn't do this, but I'm just using them as an example as if they did do it. Let's say they actually read reviews of Final Fantasy 13 from both big people and, us little people. They're everyday consumers, which ironically is more important than all of these wannabe game journalists or game YouTubers that review money for the purpose of making money. And they looked at all that, and then when they decided to create another Final Fantasy game, they're like, this is all the problems that people had with the previous Final Fantasy game. Let's not make those mistakes. Let's try to fix it. How many developers have actually, while they're developing a game, actually made a place for gamers to go to where gamers can interact with the developers on a project to throw them ideas? This is cool, this isn't cool, that's going to be way fucking repetitive, blah, 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 blah. You don't see that. Why? Because maybe it's going to cost money, and instead of creating a quality product and actually listening to the very people that are going to buy the product, it's easier to create a temporary fix than to come up with an actual solution to the problem of why you're not generating money or why a game completely bombs. We see this time and time again. You see, everyone wants to sit here and use the excuse that DLC adds a new experience, or it increases the longevity of a game so that the gamer can go and relive an experience they have already done. I'm sorry, you're full of fucking shit. There was a moment in gaming history that actually did that. We called these expansion packs. And at that moment in time, these expansion packs were released sometimes a year or even years after the game had been released. Then diving back into the experience that they have not experienced probably for a while with a new idea, a new concept, which adds to the experience, the characterization, and the story, and they expand upon it. You don't see that anymore. You get expansion packs being announced before the game is even out. Expansion packs coming out a month or two after the game has been released. This also includes on the PC, not just the console. And of course, we have the basic micro-transactional DLC of alternate costumes, skin packs, map packs, and all this other loaded shit. But at the core of it is a bigger problem that these game developers and publishers, and even some gamers, refuse to acknowledge. The reason why your company loses money and you have to resort to nickel and diming your consumers is because you fail to do the one thing that all businesses should be doing. When you fail to make money, that goal of your business, you then need to take a hard, long look at the purpose of your business, which is to make a quality service or product, and find out if you're actually doing that. Listening to your consumer base in an honest way and not making excuses such as Electronic Arts has done in the past. The new SimCity, alright, the newest one, that game didn't have the highest expectations. And guess what? Gamers were blamed for it. Konami has had a few games that failed, and they also blamed gamers for it. Electronic Arts won the Poo Poo Award 2 years in a row, and they blamed gamers for it. Instead of honestly looking at the core of their service and product to listen to who makes them fucking money, hear what they have to say, and use that to attempt to come up with a solution that is going to fix the big problem that apparently all these game developing companies have and yet continue to fail not to fix. Why? Because a temporary fix, such as DLC, is easier than actually fixing the real fucking problem. So DLC at its core is just a temporary fix. It's a fix for a bigger problem within the game industry. And at the end of the day, what we honestly need is we need a brand new game developing company that shows up and is like, you know what? We're not gonna release games that require day one updates. That's poor quality. We're going to be better than even these AAA title motherfuckers. These wannabe motherfuckers that have lost touch with what they used to be, with what they used to create. You look at somebody like Konami, Square Enix. These are all developers that have hundreds of titles that are beloved by gamers the world over, and yet they just sit on them, doing jack dick with them. You want to know why you're losing money? Because you're failing to listen to your consumer base. When a problem does arise within your company, instead of actually looking and researching how to fix it, you decide to come up with a temporary solution to regenerate the money you lost by DLC. You see, DLC is the biggest abomination within the realm of gaming, because it is us gamers who purchase it and are basically saying, you know what, we like this temporary fix. Continue to not fix the problem with your company. That way you can continue to give us games that require day one updates every fucking time we put them in our console. Or updates that last throughout a week or 2 weeks or an entire month. Or we can be fucking retarded like the developers of Dark Souls 3 and not release a fucking update for fucking a whole fucking year after the game has been released. It's ironic that everybody looks at DLC as some great fucking thing. No, it isn't. It is nothing but a goddamn excuse for developers and publishers not to take a hard, long look at why they're actually losing money and fix the fucking problem. Just a bunch of wannabe businessmen who think they know anything about business, and yet apparently they can't do the one simplest thing that as a business person, owner, you are supposed to do. When something fails within your business, you have to figure out why. When you figure out why, you have to come up with a solution that's going to actually fucking fix it. Not come up with a temporary fix that is going to be a solution for you, but not you and your consumer. So that's all I really got to say about this. I hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. And remember, gamers, if you're not voicing your thoughts and concerns about the hypocrisy and the bullshit about DLC and its temporary fix for a larger problem within the gaming industry, you just might be a part of the motherfucking problem.
Tactical nuke incoming!